everyone, how are you? I hope you are all doing great. Today, I would like to give you some tips about the remote connection running through your Windows operating system and VS Code. So some of the Windows users, I guess, having some problems while trying to make SSH connection, remote connection to their virtual machines. And so in this record, I will try to explain the possible problems, and I will try to help you to solve these connection problems, remote connection problems. So for that reason, I created an EC2 instance and I started it. This is going to be our demo instance, and we will try to make remote SSH connection, running through our VS Code. So actually, first of all, you have to be sure that your security group is open to 22 port, and you can check it from here. Security group is open. Just be sure that your inbound rules is configured for taking the SSH connection from the 22 port, and you don't need to custom TCP. Okay, just be sure that your SSH connection is defined here, and your TCP protocol 22 port is open for anywhere. Okay, and just after that, save your secure connection port, security ports, secure connection, security ports, and save it. After completing your security rules successfully, and please head over to your VS Code and open your VS Code terminal. Yeah, in the second step, actually, we are going to make a configuration in our configuration file. But actually, in this step, your VS Code, while you are installing your VS Code, the remote connection extension isn't coming as default. And for that reason, you have to install remote connection extension. Well, and just type here in this box remote, and the first remote SSH connection extension, and just install it into your system. And it is already installed in my computer. For that reason, it's showing uninstall message, but I will uninstall for you this time. And I will install it again. Okay, just you're gonna install this remote SSH connection extension. This is a popular extension for remote extension via Microsoft computers. Okay, the remote extension is installed in our system. On the left-hand side, very bottom, on the left-hand side, in the very bottom section, you will see a green box. Okay, hit enter that green box. This is going to open a remote window on the top of your computer. So in this part, you will see a connect to host, connect current window, and open SSH configuration file message in this window. Just you will hit enter the open SSH configuration file, because we're gonna define our some configuration details in this file. The remote connection extension is gonna look at this configuration, and it will make this connection after reading all of these configuration details from this configuration file. And hit enter this third line, open SSH configuration file. And after hitting enter, just after hitting enter, you're gonna see these messages, these windows popped up over here. So the first one is gonna tell you, is gonna give you a path. C users, this is my computer user, my own user, and you're gonna see this maybe different user. You are using different user in your computer. You will see your own user in this path, and it is gonna give you a .ssh directory and a config definition here. Just hit enter the first line. Okay, just hit enter the first line. It is going to get you a default configuration content. So I will give you a configuration content and just modify this default empty content with my new content. Okay, I will explain you what am I defining here. You can just take a screenshot and you can copy this content and modify your default content by using these definitions. So at the first line with the remote server, this can be EC2 server, Terraform server, Docker server, whatever you want, you can type over here. Okay, it is up to you. It is up to your choices. You can replace this part with your own name. Okay, and the second line, you're gonna define host name. So where can you get the host name? Actually, you can get the host name from your virtual machine. You are going to go to your AWS account. From over there, just choose the virtual machine, which virtual machine you're gonna make an SSH connection, and just take the public IP that virtual machine, come back to your config file and put it into right after the host name value. As the host name value, you're gonna provide your public IP of your virtual machine. And at the third line, you're gonna define a file value. This is gonna be your key pair path. Actually, you will store your key pair under the .ssh folder. In my computer, I am storing my .ssh folder. You can go to your you can store under the C. Right after the C, you will hit enter the users, and this is my user. Actually, which user you are using, you will see your own user here, and Asus is my own user, and I'm hitting enter this part, and you see there is no, there is an .ssh folder here, and I'm deleting this and you will see this config file here under the .ssh. And so I guess if you don't have your key pair, and I guess if you are storing some other folders, and just copy from over there your own key pair and put it under this .ssh folder. So the first thing actually you have to be sure in this part, and this key pair have the right permissions or not, or the right security credential or not. In order to check that, right click into your key pair and open your key pair properties. And from this window, you can see the security section. Hit enter the security. This is the highly possible. This key pair will have some different user privileges. Actually, and just be sure that you have just one user permitted to use this key pair. Just try to be sure about that. And just for being sure about that, you have to delete the other users. You have to delete the other users, and just you have to put only one user for your key pair, because it is giving error while you are trying to make SSH connection. If you have multiple user permission in your key pair, it is gonna get you a problem later on while you are trying to make SSH connection. So in this scenario, what you're gonna do in order to sort it out? So you have to remove the other users. Just you're gonna put only one user. Your own user will stay here just. So in order to make that configuration and remove the other users, just hit enter the very bottom, the advanced configuration, and you will see all of the users here. And on the left-hand side, very bottom, you will see a disable inheritance. And hit enter this disable inheritance, and it's gonna get a popped up window and remove all inherited permission from this box, from this object. Hit enter this one, hit enter this one, and it is gonna delete all of the users permissions into your key pair. So right after apply, yes, and okay, this matches. You will see a clear configuration here, but you have to make something else, some other configuration. You should add at least one user, just one user. You have to add just one user to your key pair. So how you can do that? Actually, you can do that by hitting enter this edit box, yeah, and right after you will add a user, and you see there is no user here. And in order to get user options, you will hit enter the advanced box. So you will make a search here, find now, and you're gonna find your own user. My user is Asus in my computer. In my case, in your case, it is gonna be some different, or HP or some other, whatever you are using as a user in your Windows computer, you will choose just that one, okay? And hit enter this one and choose it, and okay. You see there is a configuration just for only one user, my own user, computer user. And the other things you have to do, allow all of the permissions. You will give this user, you will grant to this user all of the permissions, okay? And maybe you cannot choose these special permissions, but from the left-hand side, just allow full control, modify, read, execute, read, and write permissions to the just only one user, Asus user or HP user, whatever you are using as a user in your computer. And just after that, apply and okay, hit enter, okay. Yes, we completed our configuration. I would like to show you from the properties. You should be in this setup, okay, at the end of this configuration process. You should be in this setup. You will have, I will show you again all of the things, yeah. And once you hit enter your C folder, and right after C, hit enter users, your own user, hit enter, mine is Asus, and .ssh folder, you will have your key pair and config file over there. So you can, just before closing this folder, try to take your key pair path, okay? If you hit enter this box, it is gonna give you a path. Copy this path. Don't forget to copy this path before closing this window. So in this config, we are at the back in this config file. You will replace this part with your key pair path, okay, after making configuration. Mine is like that. Maybe yours is gonna be different. Asus is gonna be different, or this way, but mainly you will have a similar setup like my setup. And at the end of this path, you are trying to give your key pair path, and then after you will put here the user. At this machine, this virtual machine is EC2 user. For that reason, I'm defining here. Maybe This is gonna be a Ubuntu machine. Imagine that you are creating an Ubuntu virtual machine. In that case, you will type here Ubuntu user. Okay, if you don't type here Ubuntu user, it's gonna give you an error. But in my case, my virtual machine is EC2 user. For that reason, I'm typing here the EC2 user. And the last part, we are defining another configuration, keeping alive configuration. Now, imagine that you are not typing something from your terminal, and for some security reasons, the VS Code is closing the connection. In order to prevent this automatic connection timeout, we are defining here this default keep alive time. Okay, and you can use this configuration in your remote connection config file, all of these with all of this content. Okay, and after making your configuration definition successfully, save and close this config file. And after closing this config file, hit enter from the left-hand side, this green box again, and you will see a new section here. At the first line, you're gonna see a connect host. Hit enter this connect host. It's gonna get you a remote server. Remember that we defined this remote server in our configuration file. It is getting that remote server name, and hit enter this one. It is going to open a second page from the VS Code and continue. It is asking, are you sure? Yes, continue. You see, it is trying to make a remote connection. Yeah, if you see this SSH root server message, that means that you successfully connected to the virtual machine remotely. So from this double folder feature, hit enter this one, and it's going to open a blue open folder box here. Hit enter this blue open folder, and after hitting enter, you will see a home EC2 user directory here, and hit enter OK. And you're gonna wait some time to complete. Yeah, now we are in our virtual machine actually, and yes, it is opening your virtual machine terminal automatically. Actually, on the left hand side, it is showing your virtual machine content. This we completed our remote connection successfully. Actually, it is very practical to use remote connection and making remote connection, because we're gonna make a lot of DevOps practices. Throughout making DevOps practices, we are going to take, for example, we are going to be in the need of taking our some hands-ons and README files, for example, and very practically you can take, drag and drop your files. You don't need to make any extra unnecessary manual process. Here you see we drag and drop our README files easily into our virtual machine, and you can directly make your practices very easily. Okay, and I hope you found this record useful, and you can solve your Windows connection, remote connection problems after watching these records. Thank you so much. See you. Goodbye. Take care.